I'm going to go ahead and get into my presentation. I hope everyone is having a great Friday and you've got a coffee or tea with you to enjoy while we chat for a little bit. So I'm going to go through my typical slides here, just offering everyone some announcements and dates upcoming. So first of all, I just want to start with a big thank you to everyone who turned out to support us at Saturday Night Live. The event was really fun, just a fun, festive party, and huge thanks to Amy Swan and the Parent Auction Committee who steered that event for us. John Boyer and Jessica Sines in the development office also just really stepped up and helped organize what I think is an event that people will look forward to coming back to. I spoke to a lot of people who were just enjoying the evening out and really liked being able to move around and meet a lot of new people who've joined us here at the Pine School. So thanks for those of you who were able to be there. A little nudge, we are in the midst of our annual food drive leading into the Thanksgiving holidays. So if you're able, you can send in some canned food with your children. We're collecting those in blue and gold areas so that we can see which team ends up with the weightiest contribution to our food drive. So that's sort of exciting. We will keep that going for a couple days next week. So it's definitely not too late if you want to send something in on Monday or Tuesday. I want to give a special shout out right now to our girls cross country team. They are running in Tallahassee. Their race starts in about half an hour, so we might pop off of this and be able to get on the FHSAA website and get updates about that race. Our girls cross country team is the only team from fall sports still involved in postseason competition. Everyone else has transitioned into our winter sports season, and it's been really great to watch basketball and soccer get underway. I want to share with everyone that interviews for our new school nurse are well underway. I'm pleased to see some very qualified candidates who are seeking the job, and I look forward to having someone in place shortly. We are all going to miss Nurse Candace very, very much, but I'm excited for her to be able to take her career in a direction that she feels is better for her at this time. She's going to stay on our sub list, and I'm also very glad to have Nurse Lori on hand to help with our transition to a new nurse. Another little bit of employment news I wanted to offer to you, if you didn't receive my email as a middle school parent, that we are going to look forward to welcoming Jessica Ventura to our PE department. She is going to start Monday after Thanksgiving. We are returning our athletic and PE department to the staffing we had back in 1920. We're going to have that department restaffed as it was in 1920. And what we've decided to do there is to have Paxton Ellis move more formally into the kind of staff administrative support side and be working as our assistant AD. And then we are able to hire a new PE teacher. I think that all of our students are really going to enjoy getting to know Mrs. Ventura. She's got a wealth of experience to bring to our PE classes. Lastly, my announcement here before I go through some dates with you all, and you'll see this date on the next page as well. The Pine School bus will be in the Hobe Sound Christmas Parade. That happens on Saturday, December 4th. The parade did not happen last year, but it did the year before that. Our bus driver, Bill Mayer, is on deck to drive the bus in the parade. And what we've done in the past years is decorate the bus a little bit, play a little bit of Christmas music, but it's really fun if we can have Pine School kids either along to ride in the bus and look out the windows. In the past, I've walked by the bus and passed out candy canes. So just want to invite all of you, if you've got kids who would enjoy being in a parade, I would love to have the company. And you'll see some more information coming out about that right when we get back from Thanksgiving, if not next week. But I believe it's a mid-afternoon parade. And anyway, just a lot of fun, a nice way to get into the Christmas spirit. The Hobe Sound Christmas Parade is really cute. All right, let's take a look through some of the upcoming dates. So on the immediate horizon, this coming Thursday, the 18th of November, we are going to have gallery night. Gallery night is a time for all of our visual artists to have their work on display in the upper hallway outside the Cummings Library. It's really wonderful to see that hallway transformed into a cool gallery space. Next year, hopefully we will be having that event in our new Arts and Athletic building. But in the meantime, I'm really glad that we have such a nice hallway to display display our art in. I know that our artists would appreciate your support, so please do make time to come and be there that evening if you're able to. It will feature upper school art and some middle school art. Our lower school artists have a more formal display at another time. Then, of course, we have Thanksgiving break all next week. I know that I'm looking forward to some good food and time with my family. And then we will come back well rested and ready for the conclusion to our spring semester here. Oh, fall semester. I'm getting ahead of myself. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, if any of you know Pine School alumni or past parents, please nudge them to come to our alumni event. That's going to happen at Josco. It's a restaurant in Tequesta, and that'll be on the Friday after Thanksgiving. A few years ago, we had over 60 people in attendance at that event, so very, very glad to be hosting it again this year. When we return from spring break, oh my gosh, spring break. I tell you what, everyone. You can come off mute and laugh at me a little bit if you want to. When we return from Thanksgiving break, we will have a couple of events that week. So first of all, high school night. This is a great time for those of you with 8th graders or even 7th graders who want to start looking a little early to come to an evening program. We run this event through our admission department. So we do invite students who would be new to the school. They're looking at the Pine School for upper school to come as well. But it's a nice time to get an overview of our upper school program. So again, that'll be Thursday, the 2nd of December. And then, as I mentioned, Saturday, the 4th, we will have the Hobe Sound Christmas Parade with the Pine School bus, and hopefully lots of people in attendance to walk with us. The following week on the 9th, that's also a Thursday, we will have our winter concert. And that event is broken into division performances just to make the evening a little shorter for some of our younger performers. But information will be coming to you about that event. And then on Friday, the 10th of December, we will have our holiday assembly, our holiday service. And we have a wonderful tradition here at the Pine School where students bring an opened gift to donate to a local charity, and we split those donations between Natives Helping Natives. It is an organization run for families here in Hobe Sound, and then also United Way of Martin County that does their gift distribution through the United Way. They're at the fairgrounds, if any of you have been there before to participate in that distribution. Both two wonderful, wonderful local efforts here to make sure that the holidays are great for all of our local residents. And then, of course, on the 17th of December, we will end semester 1 and head off for our winter break. The next virtual coffee we have will be after our break. That will come along in January, the Friday that we return, and I'll use that as an opportunity to frame some of the big moments coming up in spring semester. And then the next thing I wanted to highlight you to, just so you could mark your calendars, we will have our 100 Years of Cars. It's a great car show we have right here on the Pine School campus. If you haven't been before, I'd encourage you to come out. It's just a really fun time, a cool time to see lots of awesome vehicles. And then it'll be our 15th year for our 100 Years of Cars this year. So definitely looking forward to having a fun car show. All right. I'm going to give you a COVID update here at Pine. I like to do this just as my habit. So we haven't had any cases on campus in the last 2 weeks, and we haven't had any cases in the upper school since the end of September. I just point out that I really don't think it's something unique that's happening on this campus. As I continue to check our local numbers, they're dissipating. COVID cases in Martin and Palm Beach County are definitely falling off. And as I pointed out in the past, it's really great to see the vaccination rates so much higher than they were at the beginning of the summer. So all of that looks to be trending in a very positive direction. I wanted to let you know that the Pine School is just under the threshold of 100 full and part-time employees. So, as we check the guidelines there from OSHA, we're not in a position at this time to mandate vaccines for its employees. But of course, I still continue to encourage employees to go see their healthcare provider and make a vaccination decision that person feels is right for them. I'm really happy to see that we do have 85% of our employees who report being vaccinated. And then please rest assured that we will provide any information to families that we receive about pediatric vaccinations should Martin County coordinate those efforts for schools. I expect that they will be offering some vaccine clinics for local families, and absolutely we'll pass that information along as soon as we have it. All right, so that takes me through my typical update that I like to offer at these virtual parent coffees. Oh, here's my slide about health and wellness here for the family. I put this slide up again just to say I really am grateful for the cooperation we get from Pine School families. I think that our families have been incredibly supportive of making sure that sick children stay home, and have been very cooperative about reporting positive COVID cases, and then also following up as needed when their students are close contacts. I really just want to offer a sincere thank you for your cooperation in supporting our efforts for public health here on this campus. So just continue to do what you're doing, and just know that I'm grateful for your cooperation. The next part of our program here is going to be our guest who is joining me for her virtual coffee debut. So Suzanne Carlino is the director of our lower school. She has put on another hat for the school this year. She is the co-chair of our Florida Council of Independent Schools self-study. Helping her is Dr. Carolyn Bagaski, the chair of our science department. But when I was talking to Suzanne about this virtual coffee, we both kind of paused and said, well, is that something that is really going to be of great interest to parents? And I said to her, well, it's a great interest to us. This process that we're going to go through here at the school is really important to what we do professionally to make sure that our school is really as good as it can be, and to know that we have that peer review or authentication about what we're doing here educationally. So I am glad to see that you all have turned up to learn more about FCIS and our self-study and our accreditation process. And if you listen today and think, wow, that's really, pretty interesting, I think other people should know about it, know, as we always do, that we will provide a recording of this meeting. So let me come off of this presentation here so that Suzanne can get her slides up. All right, Suzanne.
Hi, it'll just take me a second. Hi, everybody. The technology component in all of this is new for me as we're going through it. So just give me a quick second
We will give you a quick second. I'm going to brag about Suzanne a little bit more while she gets her slides up. So one of the reasons why Suzanne was someone I turned to say, hey, will you help the school navigate this self-study? Suzanne herself has been on many, many visiting committees and sat on the board of the Florida Kindergarten Council for a long time. And so, really understands why this process is important to schools and is very familiar with it herself. So I know we're in good hands as we launch into this process.
Well, thank you so much. I am so excited about this opportunity. And once again, my name is Suzanne Carlino. I am, and I have the privilege of being the lower school director here at the Pine School for the past 6 years. And just like Mrs. Caffrey said, and I get to put on a new hat for the next 2 years, and I get to co-chair this amazing process with Carolyn Bagatsky, who is up in the upper school. And if you know, chances are when we do these things, then we all get the opportunity to kind of flow through the divisions, which we don't always have the opportunity to do. We kind of stay within our own little pod so that way we can make sure everything is going the way that we anticipate. So I look forward to the opportunity of bringing my lower school teachers with our middle school teachers and our upper school teachers and family members into all of this together. So over the next 2 years, you may hear me talking a little bit more about this accreditation process. And it's in the year 2023, which seems super far away. But during this morning, you'll get an idea of why the timeline is so important and why we're already talking about it and already digging deep into what that looks like for our school. So this morning, my hope is to talk to you just a little bit about the value of membership in FCIS. So what is the Florida Council of Independent Schools? What is the membership criteria? So what do we do as a school in order to become a member? Why it's important and why go through that process? And then just a brief timeline. So I won't keep you too long unless you want to talk with me a lot, and that's okay too. So value of membership. So we're nationally recognized. As a school, through NAIS, which is that National Association of Independent Schools, FCIS also provides us an advisor program, which is amazing. It gives us, as a leadership team, people that we can connect with and contact in case we want to have conversations. And over the last 2 years, there have been many conversations going through heads of schools and division heads to figure out this process going through COVID. And it's been an amazing resource for us. Gives us access to professional development. So we just had a Florida Council of Independent Schools conference that Benny was able to attend, and that actually 2 of our teachers presented in. So it keeps us in that professional growth piece. It gives us a legislative voice at the state level. So they're always making sure that we are on target with what's happening in the state and independent schools. Master in-service program, which doesn't sound like much to you, but for our teachers, in order to maintain our certification through the Florida Department of Education, we have to go ahead through this Master in-service program. So it keeps us learning and keeping our points up to date, and that and keeping that together. There's Dazzle, which sounds very impressive, but Dazzle is just that data and analysis, which Vinny is in love with, because it gives us that place where it's saying, okay, so we are still within best practices, and it's the data to support the work that we do. Southeast Collaborative is the opportunity for us to be a part of a group, not only here in Florida, but also in Georgia and other southeastern states, to go ahead and have these conversations, and then also to use some of the support, so IXL and Pebble Go, which are all online programs that we use. It gives us a little bit of a benefit. And then networking and collaboration. So everyone needs a really great networking opportunity, and that's one of the things that FCIS provides for us. Okay. In order to be a part of this amazing group of educators throughout the state, we go through this accreditation process every 5 years. And it's kind of like that unpacking process. It's almost like when you sit back, and it gives us the opportunity to reflect on the work we're doing, and then also look at what we're not doing, what we should be doing, and then all of the great stuff that that's happening in other places. So there's a list of standards that we have to meet in order to be a part of this Council of Independent Schools. And then those standards, we sit back and we say, are we meeting those standards? Are we demonstrating that we provide a quality education to our students? Are we demonstrating financial stability? And are we committed to that code of ethics through FCIS? So it's really an unpacking. It's like when you go through your closet and you're like, okay, this is working, this isn't working. How can we fix this? What do we want to do here? And then it's also a, holy cow, look at, we've done all of these pieces already. We are so on track. I want to share with you that being a member of FCIS and being a member of the teams that have been able to go to schools to look at the work that schools do has been incredible for me in terms of professional development. And I so look forward to our self-study this year here at Pine. We are so on track. So why do this? Any self-evaluation process is where you get to sit back and really look at the pieces of the puzzle. And, what does our mission say? If you know that we just went through a whole mission transition this last school year, then you can talk a little bit about that. We're looking at our strategic plan. In the next slide, I'll sort of go through the standards that we are addressing. And when I say we, I want you to know that teachers, faculty, staff, parents, students. So it's a whole encompassing. It's not just teachers or admin that are going through this. It's all of us, which means I'll be reaching out for support and help from you as well. We fulfill our mission. And when you go to schools to talk about accreditation, it's not just what are you doing, but it's what are you doing to make sure that you're doing what you say you do, and that you're fulfilling your mission, and that everything that you do as a school lends itself back to your code and your mission and your vision. And that's a real treat, and that takes a lot of work. I talk very fast. So, this year and next year, in terms of a timeline, we're beginning our self-study right now. Know that we have a self-study steering committee, and that these people here on campus will be working and will be asking other constituents to help us as we unpack some of these standards. Our goal is to request that our accreditation visit, and that's where we have people from other schools, heads of schools, division directors, and teachers come to our school to look through the standards and to make sure that, again, we are meeting all of those standards and we are living our mission on a daily basis. That visit will happen in February of 2023. So it feels like it's very far away, but it really isn't. And it's exciting to be able to lead this charge for our school. So what are the FCIS standards? And this is just an outline of the bigger pieces. But if you're interested, you can absolutely go to the FCIS website and dig through that a little bit. I'm hoping that as parents and as people are looking at being a potential Pine School parent, that they're looking at these standards and they're saying, wow, it's really good to know that as a school, we are meeting, exceeding, looking at, making sure that we're addressing each of these components. So FCIS standards, I'm not going to read through the list, but if you look through it, you'll see that we have to go ahead and make sure that we have a valid mission statement that meets the expectations of our students and that we're talking about it regularly. Governances in terms of our board and the requirements for our board, strategic and long-term planning. Does our finances right on target? What does our advancement system look like? Are we maintaining our best practices based on data and research? Is our admissions process fair? When we look at early childhood in our school, we don't have a preschool, but early childhood does include kindergarten. So in order to make sure we meet that standard, there are certain criteria for a kindergarten class that look different than what you would have in first or second or third grade. So we address those. Personnel, I said I wasn't going to go through them, but now I am. So personnel, are we making sure that we have fair practices when we're hiring? Or what do our academic programs look like in terms of alignment? Or do we have a curriculum guide? Are we meeting that? Are we adjusting it, making sure that we're staying current? What does student life look like and what is our process for that? Safety and security risk management, a lot of that will go through our business office. International students, we do have international students and components, so that goes through our admissions piece. And then that travel that some of our students do as they get into the middle and upper grades, and does all of that follow. So these are the bigger buckets. And then within those buckets, there are smaller components. We write a 30, 40-page self-study that addresses all of these standards. And we're pretty excited to go through the process. So that's what's going to be happening here over the next 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, really like less than 2 years. The last time that the Pine School had a visiting committee was February of 2017. So it was prior to my arrival. I hope to see our next visiting committee here around the same time in 2023. So, it's really not much over a year once we turn the calendar to 2022. It's interesting to me, trying to explain to people. They'll often ask, what's the difference between different private schools or this school and that school? And I would offer to you and boast a little bit about FCIS that, really when you think about schools that would be accredited and want to have really stringent guidelines for membership, I think FCIS creates a high bar. And there are around 150 schools in the state that happen to be members of the Florida Council of Independent Schools. And if nothing else, listening to Suzanne today, I hope gives you the reassurance that we do a lot in support of our total school program here. And we go through a peer review to make sure that we are doing what we say we're doing and really offering the most exceptional educational and school experience to students, employees, and other constituencies that we can. I'm really proud of the work that FCIS does for accreditation, and I've been grateful to them as an organization for the resources they've offered to me personally as I came to Florida and started working as a new head of school in this state, and then also for the professional development they offer to faculty and staff. It's really extraordinary, and it is not like every independent school organization. It feels much more connected and much more supportive than some of the other regional and state organizations around the country.
Yeah, and if I can brag a little bit as well on FCIS, I will share with you that they also go ahead and they provide new teacher training, new head of school training. So making sure that that all of us are getting what we need in order to really be that independent school that we want, that sets those higher standards.
Yeah, yeah. And I like to that point, Suzanne, we probably have some parents listening now that might not understand the subtle difference between an independent school versus a private school versus a Catholic school. I mean, I think all schools that charge tuition sometimes get thrown into a single bucket. But that word independent, when we call ourselves an independent school and use that distinctly from being a private school, what that means is that we do have an independent board of trustees that govern us. And all of the schools that are FCIS members, even though they might, have like a slightly different, bent to them, perhaps their mission is different. They might have a religious affiliation. They might even be for-profit schools. That independence comes from the separate governance structure that they support. So that's one of the criteria. And then, of course, to be an FCIS member school, you need to go through the accreditation process and you need to maintain it. Well, Suzanne, I am looking at the clock right now. We're just before 9:30. I'm going to go ahead and just ask if anyone has any questions, either related to Suzanne's talk or something they were hoping to ask today. We've got a few minutes before our 9:30 cutoff. I try and keep this talk when I can to 30 minutes. I would invite you to come off mute if you want to, or type your question into the comments. Well, you all are super kind to show up and support me as we geek out on school accreditation. It's not for everyone, but it's definitely for us. And we look forward to updating you all more as our self-study continues. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. And what I really hope is that you mark the Hobe Sound Christmas Parade on your calendar and that you come walk with me and the Pine School bus in the parade. So I hope you all have a great day.